All right, diving right in here on the deep dive. And today, it's all about that La Liga clash, Mallorca versus Barcelona. We've got a great recap from AS.com, so you know we're going to break it down.
Yeah, we're going way beyond just the scoreline here. Always fun to dig into individual players, the tactics, those decisions that win or lose games. And a little history never hurts either, right? Especially when you're trying to figure out what this win really means for Barcelona, where they go from here.
Because at first glance, it's like, okay, Barcelona crushes it 5-1. They snap that 3-game winless streak. Barcelona fans must have been ecstatic.
Oh, yeah. Huge relief for them, for sure. Shaking off those November blues, finally. But here's the thing. Gotta ask, is this a true turnaround or just a blip on the radar?
That's what we're here to figure out. But before we even get into that, let's talk about that starting lineup. No Lewandowski. The guy's been their scoring machine all season long, and suddenly he's on the bench.
First time all season, actually. Makes you wonder what Coach Flick's thinking, right? Is there an injury we don't know about? Or maybe he's using this opportunity to experiment a bit, see what other lineups can do, especially with, the Supercopa de España right around the corner. And December is packed with games.
So with Lewandowski out, someone had to step up.
Yeah.
And Ferran Torres, he answers the call, gets that first goal, had some other good chances too.
Totally. And this could be a real turning point for Ferran. He was out for a month, hadn't scored for Barcelona since, August? Big question is, was this just a one-time thing, or is Ferran really back in form?
And then there's Rafinha, man. 2 goals, one of them from the penalty spot. He's on pace to match his best scoring season ever across all the top European leagues. That's saying something.
Rafinha's becoming so crucial for Barcelona. And that penalty, man, ice in his veins. He's never missed a penalty, 7 for 7 in his whole career. And then you factor in the leadership he brings, especially when Lewandowski's not there. He's a complete package, really.
Okay, but wait, there's more. Lamine Yamal back in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And he did not disappoint.
That assist he gave Rafinha for the second goal, you got to watch it. It was this insane trivela pass, curved the ball with the outside of his foot, just sliced through Mallorca's defense. And here's a wild stat. Barcelona's record is perfect when he starts, winless when he doesn't. Is he some kind of good luck charm or what?
Now, Mallorca, they definitely took a gamble trying to exploit that high defensive line Barcelona likes to play. Led to a bunch of offsides, but it also got them their only goal.
Yeah, it's a high-risk, high-reward strategy. It can pay off big time, but in this case, well, not so much for Mallorca. Caught offside 11 times. You have to wonder if fatigue started to set in during that second half, because that's when things really fell apart for them.
And speaking of struggles, Vedat Mariki, Mallorca's star striker. Yeah, he finally scored, but it was his first goal since October. Mallorca fans can't be feeling too good about that, can they?
I'd say that's a definite red flag. Mariki's usually their goal machine, the guy they rely on to get things done. So this dry spell, it could be a sign of something bigger, some deeper issues within the team that need to be addressed. Definitely something to keep an eye on in the coming weeks.
One player who might not be getting the headlines but had a really solid game, Samu Costa. Dominated the midfield, although that passing accuracy could use a little work.
Costa's physicality is a huge asset, no doubt. But yeah, his distribution skills, they need some fine-tuning. If you compare him to, say, Pedri, who had a near-perfect passing game for Barcelona, like 96.7% accuracy, you see where Costa has room to grow. Still, a solid performance overall.
And we can't ignore those defensive issues Barcelona showed, even in a win like this. Mallorca had some good chances, especially in that first half.
Those vulnerabilities could definitely come back to haunt them. Gotta give credit to both goalkeepers, though, especially Leo Orman. That one-on-one save against Rafinha, wow. If he doesn't make that stop, this game might have gone very differently.
Yeah, those defensive issues, those could be a problem going forward, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Especially with Betis and Dortmund coming up next. Can Barcelona really keep this up, keep winning?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, is this really the Barcelona we remember? Back in top form, it's a good win, but those defensive lapses, those could be really costly against tougher opponents.
Yeah.
Next few weeks will be very telling.
It makes you wonder about those new rules that Coach Flick put in place, right?
Yeah.
The article mentioned them. Pretty strict, like punctuality and weight monitoring, no late night outings. Seems kind of old school,
Yeah, it's definitely a different approach, that's for sure. Makes you think, did these new rules actually have an impact? Did they contribute to how Barcelona played? Or was it something else entirely?
It's like a puzzle, right? Trying to figure out all the little pieces that led to this win. But for Mallorca, they've got to figure out how to get their offense going again, especially Mariki. He needs to start scoring.
Absolutely. For Mallorca, it's all about finding the back of the net. In this game, it really highlights a trend we're seeing more and more in La Liga, these high defensive lines, like what Barcelona uses. Super effective, but risky.
Yeah, we saw what can happen. It can backfire big time, like it did for Mallorca. But gotta admit, it makes the game more exciting, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. Definitely adds another layer of strategy to things. And then you get those moments of individual brilliance, like what we saw from Yamal and Rafinha. They can change everything in an instant.
Those are the moments, those are what keep the fans on the edge of their seats.
Mm.
And speaking of exciting, the article mentioned that Barcelona's got this incredible record against Mallorca. They haven't lost to them in, get this, 16 straight La Liga matches. Talk about pressure.
Yeah, history definitely plays a role. Knowing those past results, it can either give you a huge confidence boost or it can add a ton of pressure. Gotta wonder how that affected Mallorca coming into this match, right?
There's just, I don't know, there's so much to unpack when you really dive into a game like this. It's more than just the score. It's the tactics, the individual players, the coach's decisions, even a little bit of psychology in there too.
That's what makes football so fascinating to analyze, right? It's not just
Mhm.
physical, it's mental too. This match, it definitely gave us a lot to think about.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into this Mallorca versus Barcelona clash, what are the big questions we're left with? Is Barcelona really back? Can Mallorca find their scoring touch again? And how will both teams handle the challenges that are coming up?
Those are the mysteries, aren't they? We'll have to see how things unfold as the season goes on. But one thing is for sure, La Liga is just heating up, and there's a lot more drama and excitement still to come.
And we'll be here to break it all down for you, right here on the Deep Dive. But before we go, we want to leave you with one final thought. The article mentioned those strict new rules that Coach Flick implemented at Barcelona. Do you think those rules, were they a major factor in this performance? Or were there other things, maybe even more important, that led to this win? Something to ponder as we see how Barcelona performs in these upcoming matches.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about, right? I mean, did those rules kind of, light a fire under them? Or was there something else entirely at play here?
I mean, it is a great question, and to be honest, there are probably really solid arguments to be made on both sides. Maybe it's not one thing or the other. Maybe it was a combination of factors. Like maybe those rules, maybe they set the tone, got everyone on the same page, and then you add in those tactical changes, sprinkle in those flashes of brilliance we saw, and boom, suddenly it all just clicks into place. It's like, what's that saying? Success is a combination of preparation and opportunity. So maybe Flick's guidance, maybe that was the preparation, and then Mallorca's, their risky defensive strategy, maybe that was the opportunity.
Exactly. See, and that's what makes analyzing this sport, analyzing football so much fun. We can
Mm.
break it down, look at all the numbers, consider every little thing. But there's always that bit of mystery, that unknown element that keeps us coming back for more.
It's like this perfect blend of, the strategy, the raw talent, and then you got to throw in just a little bit of unpredictability for good measure.
Right.
And looking ahead at, at the rest of the La Liga season, well, one thing's for sure, there are going to be a lot more surprises,
Yeah.
some amazing plays, and definitely more deep dives like this one.
Oh, you can count on that. We'll be right here with you, breaking it all down, trying to figure out what it all means, for this beautiful game we all love. So until next time, keep those analytical minds working and never ever let that passion for football fade away.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time with another exciting look at the world of sports. See you then.